Hello and welcome to Brave Souls Rewind, the show where I 200 older characters so you don't have to. Now originally this was supposed to be Hyorimaru, but because there was no heart rate with Soul Reapers as enemies, I decided to do a Resurrection Rewind instead. I will still do Hyorimaru, but I really wanted a chance to test out what the Resurrection version of Full Hollow Ichigo could do, so let's get started. Now starting off, I did the normal tech damage build, and it went about as well as you may think. This build is unbelievable and it cut through the enemies like butter. Seriously, all of the small fry enemy died in a single strike, and it didn't take much to take out some of the bigger guys. It's actually the first time I do a rewind and the character feels exactly like what you might expect from a character that would come out now. And it makes sense. He has a ridiculously high attack, especially for an older character, and a plus 40 bruiser as well as a normal attack damage link. On top of all that, his normal attack 1, despite not dealing that much damage with a Chappie, actually came in handy since it was a vortex move. So yeah, this build is absolutely viable and totally usable in every single aspect of the game today, except maybe Guild Quest and the higher ranks of PvP. Now we're moving on to the strong attack build, and this character is like no other because despite having such a ridiculously high attack, he also has an SP of almost 700, which is absolutely unheard of for a character with this high of an attack. Plus he has a plus 40 berserker, meaning these attacks are gonna do damage. His strong attack 2 is a 160 mag strong attack, so that one in particular is gonna deal some heavy damage. Now overall for this build, while your strong attacks did deal an impressive amount of damage, his normal attack was still key, as it was still enough to take out enemies with a relative ease, despite not having a significant boost to attack or a normal attack damage link aside from his own. And honestly, you do have to rely on this, because as I mentioned before, his strong attack 1 is a vortex move, and it actually has a cooldown of 16 seconds instead of the regular 8. When all is said and done though, this build is still viable, since everything you have is gonna deal a decent amount of damage. I still prefer the normal attack damage link to this, but it's still a usable build. Now we move on to the strong attack recharge build, and much like the previous build, the normal attack is still a big factor in this one, though you don't have to use it as much because your strong attacks come back faster. Still, it's a relatively fun build, and you get to take advantage of your strong attack 1 a lot more frequently. That's not to say the other ones aren't useful though, because that means that you get to use your strong attack 2 with the 160 mag a lot more frequently too. Honestly, for this guy, his strong attack 3 isn't that impressive to me, though it does get the job done of taking care of the enemies. Still, I find that the normal attack is the best part of this build as well, but I'm not gonna hold it against it since the build is still viable. Plus, the strong attacks do serve their purpose, and some of them at least let you control the field a little bit better. Now it's time for my favorite of the 3 builds. Though I do still think the normal attack damage build is better, the hybrid build was my favorite, mostly because his normal attacks felt like they were gonna cut through butter once again, much like in the first build. But this time his strong attacks actually dealt damage, and the fact that they came back just a little bit quicker meant that I can use a strong attack 1 to gather them all in one place even sooner. Like I said, I do think the normal attack is the superior build, but with a character with this much SP and that high of an attack, it's almost a waste not to use both of these. So I think the hybrid build is definitely the most fun, and of course it is viable. Honestly, there was never a doubt in my mind that this Ichigo is going to be an A. For a year 1 character, it's amazing that he holds up extremely well, and is on par with some of the characters that Caleb is busting out now. This character is currently on sale, and if you don't have him, I actually recommend you buy him. Not only do you get orbs, you also get an amazing character with last ditch survival as a secondary link, making him perfect for autoing. He's definitely the best character they've resurrected so far, no offense to Ukiura, but I do wonder what happened to Shuei. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit like and subscribe to the channel, and let me know what other characters you want me to rewind.